Hey guys, this is Market Update. So we've got the big spending bill in the States that potentially could pass through the Senate this month and be signed off. So that's obviously going to affect Bitcoin for the rest of this bull market. The spending bill is going to add approximately $3.3 trillion to the deficit over 10 years. Now, of course, they're going to say, well, GDP is going to grow as well, so we're going to sort the debt to GDP ratio. The 3 trillion is 1.5 Bitcoin networks. So they're going to print 1.5 Bitcoin networks worth of new currency. So what do you think is going to happen to the price of Bitcoin? New currency in existence, same amount of Bitcoin. The long-term game for Bitcoin is just so obviously clear. Now, if this bill goes through, maybe markets go a little bit higher. If it doesn't and it gets delayed, maybe we just have this malaise throughout the summer again. Now, Trump said that the tariffs are going to actually come back into effect. He paused it for a while, right? It looks like a lot of countries are trying to negotiate and get trade deals done. But if they don't, these tariffs come in again. Higher tariffs mean higher taxes. Higher taxes means less currency around to chase, which means soft markets. We've seen that before right here. This was the tariff tantrum. So there's, of course, short-term some potential downside if the worst case scenario happens. If that happens, like I've always said, I want to be picking up any BTC around these prices if it comes there for short-term positions. I'm still adding every single week DCA, right? I'm just buying Bitcoin if I can. I don't want any fiat currency. So if we do get a little dip for any reason, I want to be hopefully buying that for short-term trading positions for the rest of this cycle, because I do believe we just go higher until the end of this cycle. But if we don't, then I'm happy with my dollar cost averaging. If you trade, check out Bybit. You can get a $30,000 deposit bonus via the link in the description. You can also trade stocks on Bybit these days as well. So you can trade everything on Bybit and get a big deposit bonus via the link down below. I'll quickly explain how the whole economic system works in like 5 minutes. And I'll show you some charts here of why you have to be in money. You have to be in money. This is the trade of our generation. It's Bitcoin. And it is the invention of a technology that has blown open the truth, right? So I want to explain this. You can see here that the current spending bill will add approximately 3.3 trillion to the deficit, maybe 3.9, maybe 4.2. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a few trillion, which is an insane figure. Like the amount of currency units that is absolutely massive. But this will continue and it will go on. And Elon Musk is saying we need to, bring this back and we need to pay off the debt. And that is not how this system works. Elon Musk is absolutely misinformed here. He doesn't understand how this system works. The government, right, which is us, we vote for a government, right, to spend money on the stuff that we want it to be spent on. Healthcare, education, free stuff. That's what we do. And the government has to spend it to stay in power. But the government doesn't have any money. Money doesn't actually exist as we use it. Fiat currency is made up. It doesn't exist in the ground or on trees or anywhere else. This whole entire system is a made-up fairy tale, right? Where we want to spend, if the government spends money, it has to create the money. Where does the money come from? It doesn't come from tax, right? The government creates it as debt. The government creates it as debt, and the central bank eventually, through the banking system, literally just prints the currency units, right? We vote for this. We keep voting to spend more and spend more and spend more. The government has to create the debt to spend because that's what the currency is. The currency is the debt. We made it up. We just make it up as paper. That's the whole system. We keep spending. And the problem is that if you keep spending, right, this is the amount of nominal kind of debt, right? Currency is debt. To move up, right? Red or blue, it doesn't matter. It has to move up. The reason is that once the price level in the economy is set at a certain level, you can't draw it down. Because once the price level is a certain level, everyone creates debt upon assets that are a certain price level. And if you draw down the price of those assets, everyone's debt becomes insolvent because the price comes down below the amount of debt. And if their prices come down, that means your wages have to come down. Wages can't pay off the debt. Everyone becomes insolvent. The game is up. This is normal, right? You're not going to pay it off. Impossible. It cannot happen. We just go higher and higher and higher and higher. This is what will continue to happen. Don't measure anything via this system. This system is not money, and you have to be in money. I'll show you some data here as well. This is apparently the president, really putting a lot of pressure on the Fed and Jerome Powell to lower interest rates. As you can see, US is amongst the highest. Yeah, they should be lower. But this pressure, right? There's always pressure on the currency to debauch and debase the currency. The currency is something that we all want to spend, and we don't have it. It's just made up paper. It's not actual money. So you have to be in money, and I'll show you why. A democracy cannot exist as a permanent form of government. It can only exist until the voters discover that they can vote themselves largesse from the public treasury. That's what we're doing. No one ever is going to vote for reducing the amount of money spent on what they want, right? And you can't either do that. If you actually reduce the amount of currency units in circulation, you make the whole entire financial system insolvent, because we value everything in this made-up paper currency. For better or worse, this is the system, and it always is like this. Elon doesn't get this. I don't really understand why he hasn't worked Bitcoin out yet. It's just one uni-party. It's not a uni-party. It's groups of people that will continually want to print money on the things that they want money spent on. $5 trillion, Porky Pig Party. Look, you have to stop fooling around with stupid dog coins and actually understand Bitcoin. Tesla even has some. He just doesn't. He's shouting into a vacuum to change a system that literally cannot change. You cannot change that system because everyone would go bankrupt if you actually tried to pay off debt. Because once you put currency into circulation, that's people's currency. That's the price level, right? You can't take it out because you bankrupt everyone. So this is the issue that we're in. Elon doesn't get this. But what I urge is that when you are valuing anything, you have to value it from real money, not currency. We have to value from real money. And I think Bitcoin is real money. I think Bitcoin over the next 10 to 20 years is going to go astronomically higher when valued in paper, because the paper is completely untethered to anything, right? It's completely untethered. It used to be tethered to gold or silver. And that means that if it's backed by an amount of gold or silver, that slows the rate at which we can debauch it and we can print it, because it has to be backed by this amount of gold or silver, which takes time to get out the ground, right? Now it's completely untethered, no tethering whatsoever, right? And so it is going to go exponentially higher when in amount, and when valued in real money that you can't print, this thing is going lower versus that real money. Real money is Bitcoin, right? The only thing that you can't find more of. It's actually beautiful when you think about it. What we've done here is invented the solution, right, to this debauchery. You've got politicians now just saying completely out loud in public exactly what the game is. For all cost-cutting Republicans, remember, we still have to get re-elected. The public votes for politicians that spend currency that doesn't exist on things that they want. And that will never, ever change. The scam here is that we have to use fiat currency to pay our taxes and pay for everyday items. And also, because of legal tender and taxes within the fiat currency, that means that companies have to capitalize on this garbage as well. So you've got Apple, you've got the S&P, right? Amazon, Google. They hold billions and billions of dollars of treasury bills, right? And they're just getting stolen from month after month, from us, from the voters and the government, who are just spending this currency out, debasing their purchasing power from these bonds that they hold. This is just the way it works. Debase the currency, steal from cash and bondholders to remain in power. That's the game. And Bitcoin sits here, can't be debauched, can price in this theft and the debasement of currency, which will continue to happen. Don't go too crazy. We will make it up 10 times with growth. Growth in what, though? We're told that growth solves all problems, and it's the panacea that we just need to figure everything out. That's not true. The problem is that we spend more currency than exists, and eventually we have to print that currency through the central bank. It's a convoluted system of debt creation from government, commercial banks being pushed to create debt upon assets and everything else. But eventually all that fails and it goes to the Fed and other central banks to print the money. And this is just how it works. And so you have to be in real money for your savings. Real money is Bitcoin. What's the most realistic way for the US to lower debt to GDP ratio? That's all that they want. Lower the debt to GDP ratio, but it is impossible long term. It's impossible because we spend more currency than exists. The government is short currency. This deficit, 30 odd trillion in accumulated deficits. That's currency units that we printed that don't exist. We can't ever have that. The way that you sort that out is just by printing the currency. Why don't you do that? Because the system that we're in, that we try and measure ourselves by, would be just completely exploded up, right? Well, that's how every fiat currency fails. It's going to happen eventually, but it gets there very slowly. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. We'll just kick the can, right? What is the biggest driver of growth? Productivity. Growth in what? Growth in what? Growth in products and services, sure. But the government is short currency and it's not short goods and services. So you can invest in AI and that's great. And you can potentially increase GDP by getting all of the dollars held in the Middle East back invested in the States, which is what Trump did. Huge investment boom that can just push GDP higher, which can sort things out short term. But the more you invest, the more the free market produces abundance in goods and services, which drives the unit cost of everything down. $10, 2 apples. Those 2 apples cost $5 each. $10, 10 apples. Each apple costs $1. It's a very simplified version. It doesn't work like that in reality, but right, the more products that you have for every unit of currency, the cheaper per unit they get. But the government is short currency, so they need to print the currency. They need to increase the amount of currency units. Look at how much cash the Mag 7 is generating here. Wow, successful 7 companies. But how could they earn more cash if more cash doesn't exist? Yes, you could say maybe they are taking cash and revenues away from other companies. But here's the S&P 500, right? And the amount of cash that they make, the amount of revenue that they make. Where is that money coming from? Because it's not found in the ground. It doesn't grow on trees. Where are they getting that cash? We print it. They're going to keep printing money. Everything's going to go higher when valued in fiat. But that's not the game. The game is to measure things valued in real money. Here's 1971. You can see right here. That's when they went off the gold standard. And since then, the complete debauchery of currency, completely untethered to anything in the ground. At least when it was backed by gold, you could print the paper, but it had to be backed by the gold. And so there was a kind of time aspect here where you had to actually go and dig the gold out the ground. And so that kept things tight. But after 71, the whole thing just explodes exponentially higher. So everything is going higher when valued in fiat. But that's not the game. You have to figure out what is going higher versus real money like Bitcoin. You can see here that asset prices move with the currency. So when you're trading Bitcoin, or when you're trading stocks, or when you're trading anything else, the price is moving not because of those assets. It's because of the debauchery of the fiat currency. This is M2 in purple. When M2 goes up, asset prices go up. When M2 goes down, asset prices go down. So if you're trading Bitcoin, what you're actually trading is the currency. The currency is going to get debauched, which means Bitcoin is going to go up forever. And it's going to go exponential as more and more and more currency units are printed because it's completely untethered. Everyone should be happy though, because stocks are at an all-time high. The S&P is at an all-time high. The Nasdaq's at an all-time high. Bitcoin's at an all-time high. Housing is at an all-time high. Everything's at an all-time high. Steak and eggs and everything. Actually, eggs have come down a bit over the last few years, but the CPI, that's at an all-time high. So what you have to do is measure your wealth in money, not currency. The biggest scam here, the kind of misconception here, right, which is every day kind of proliferated through the legacy media as well, is that the kind of base layer for money is the fiat currency, the government's fiat currency, and that's how we measure everything. That one thing is going to solve a lot of investment problems, is that value things in real money. Now, I think Bitcoin's real money, but here what I've done is compared the S&P to gold, because gold is much slower moving. It's got a lot more history, right? And so what you can see is that the S&P down here is at an all-time high, right? Valued in paper, valued in nothing. Valued in gold, you're not at an all-time high. In fact, you're at the same level as you were in 2015, in 2006, in 1996. Stocks are at the same level versus gold as they were in 1996. You've not made any money versus gold. Just hold gold instead of the stocks. All of that effort, all of that production, all of that innovation, it's gone nowhere. When you think about it, it makes sense because they're just producing goods and services. You can swap other goods and services for it, right? The 500 companies produce goods and services. We work for those companies. We produce them, right? That makes sense. When valued in gold, stocks haven't gone anywhere since 1996. Big boom here. So when people say the stock market's overvalued versus what? Versus gold? No, it isn't. It's not nowhere near an all-time high, right? And so they print money and it looks like the stock market's going up, but it isn't. It's just pricing in the debauchery of that currency, right? So stocks are going to keep going higher, but not versus Bitcoin and not versus gold. That's the issue. Those stocks are capitalized on the garbage, right? They hold billions of dollars of cash and T-bills and bonds. And we're stealing all of that money away from them with the profligate spending of the government. They're capitalized on that, and they have to be. And they can't capitalize on other stocks. There's rules that say they can't do that. But they can capitalize on Bitcoin because it's a commodity and it's digital capital. You can't do it with gold. It's too slow. It doesn't clear fast enough. You can do it with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the way out for companies who actually produce profits, is to capitalize on Bitcoin. And it's going to proliferate. It's very, very slow. You can see it happening though, right? You've got treasury companies, which is typical of a new solution. And these guys understand that solution. They understand. And 90% of them are going to go bust because they're not real businesses, right? They're just kind of, financial engineering. But once real businesses that actually produce value in society start putting some profits into BTC, they're going to capitalize on that. And they're actually going to have real capital on their balance sheet versus these bonds where they're just getting stolen from all the time. So what are you valuing your assets in? If you're valuing fiat currency, it's going to go up forever, right? We're at an all-time high, but we're not in gold. And that's the issue. Real money. This is the food price index from around the world, valued in dollars, up and up and up and up, right? So everything's getting less and less affordable, right? Abundant money creates scarcity. Scarce money creates abundance. So what I'm going to do is value the worldwide food index in real money, right? It's a joke, right? I mean, it's just down, which makes sense because why is food getting more expensive? We are producing more of it than ever. We have technologies that make crops resistant to disease and everything like that. The yields are the highest they've ever been. Food should be cheap. Well, it is valued in money. If you value food in money, it's cheap. If you value food in paper currency that's completely untethered, looks like it's getting more expensive. The game is that Bitcoin is the hurdle rate, and I appeal to everyone to use Bitcoin as the rate at which you price everything else, because fiat currency is completely and totally debauched. It's over. So yeah, Bitcoin's going up forever versus fiat. And because Bitcoin is a fixed currency, it means the abundance and production of goods and services through AI and robotics and everything else should make everything cheaper and more abundant versus that currency. So this is the hurdle rate. This is savings. This is capital. If you trade on Bybit, you can get a $30,000 deposit bonus. Check the link in the description for that. Some other helpful videos and links down there in the description as well. I'm James, it's Money G. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.